Nope, that's the wrong one. Damn, I'm all off. There we go. What a championship would mean for this person legacy. So I guess we'll try to keep a quick segment, keep it short about each person because we got like what 5, 6 people.
Yeah.
All right. Who you most eager to talk about? Or you want me to go first?
You could go first. Who you got? Who you
Chris fucking Paul. You already know what I'm starting off with, man. I don't know why you even thought. Look, you've been watching the TikToks. You've been watching the YouTube channel. I've been dropping
Oh
all
man.
those videos. I got
Um.
people talking. What a
All right, let's
championship
go.
mean, huh?
I say, all right, let's go.
What a championship means for Chris Paul. What would it do with his legacy? It'll give him a smidget of respect because that'll be an official Jason Kidd title. And the reason it'd be a Jason Kidd title because he's no longer the first best player. He's no longer the second best player. He's no longer the main focus of the offense. He has a lesser role than he was in Houston. And he's arguably the third best player because the way KD and DeAndre Jordan the way KD and Devin Booker played, they like ISO ball, they like high scoring, high volume shooting. So guess what? If they miss, DeAndre Ayton is going to be the one who clean up on that. So Chris Paul is arguably the third or fourth best player on that Phoenix squad if they win a championship. I don't think that will boost him. I don't think we'll give him the love that we'll give a Zeke, a Steph, or a Magic. It's a Jason Kidd championship. It will help out his legacy. It'll look nice on his trophy case. But as far as if you had Chris Paul ranked at number 7, then I don't see why would you rank him number 6 because he will have a championship that he has not too much to do with. He's a nice role player now. So yes, that's what it'll do with Chris Paul legacy. Your turn.
All right. So, um, obviously KD is the alpha on here, and you have Book as number 2. All right. Now the thing is, when it comes down to Chris Paul on his team, I know you like to minimize what he does. I pretty much watch all of those games, and as far as counter stats, he's not getting you much of that, but I see what he does. Like DeAndre Ayton gets the ball when Chris Paul gives it to him, and it's the same thing with when it comes down to Okogie and anybody else on the bench. Like the only people who create their own shots on that team is really um what's the backup point guard name?
Campaign.
Campaign, um Book, and
KD.
Campaign, Book, and KD. That's the only people that really create their own shot. Everything else usually runs through Chris Paul.
You give
Um
Campaign that much love? That's what's up.
no, I'm saying that's the only people who create their own shot. All
No,
right.
I get you.
So with that said, even if Chris Paul doesn't get the assist, it's a lot of time it's an action that he initiates, right? When I see him pass the ball, he might pass the ball to KD in order to get it to Aiden at a better angle, and that's what I see him do. When it comes down to Jason Kidd, Jason Kidd at the level that he got his championship, it wasn't this level of involvement. If we really being honest, it wasn't at this level of involvement. Jason Kidd came after it probably was like 6 people. All right. He really came after about 6 people if we really being honest. But with that said, what this is gonna do is if Chris Paul gets a championship, this is going to stop certain people from having those one-way arguments when it comes down to Chris Paul. It's like, oh, well, Rondo better than him because Rondo has a championship. Oh, Tony Parker better than him because he has a championship. Like
yeah.
this would,
That those kind of nonsense arguments too. I'll give you that.
but those are arguments that me and you have had for like Damn, it's almost been 10 years.
Nah, I mean, well, not as much Tony Park in my book, but I think Rondo. If somebody wanted to argue, and I'm not trying to take it away from you, but I think if somebody argue Rondo the for previous years with Chris Paul, like peak Rondo in that area, the route he was going, it was an argument, especially because he had the championship on his end. But of course, Rondo faded out, but not Tony Parker. Tony Parker was always kind of like a better resume, but clearly it's just championships. But Rondo was actually an argument for me for a while.
Right. And I'm just saying that what it's going to do is some of these people who should not be in an argument, you're going to take those people out of the argument. So that's just
You can leave Derek Fisher alone.
Derek Fisher was never in an argument, but I'm just
You bring
saying
him up
let's
so much, man.
no, I bring up Derek Fisher because you like to say nonsense. But anyway, I'm just saying, like, when it comes down to it, it's going to eliminate some of those people because basically when it comes down to it, you have like yourself, and this is what you do. You pick one area that somebody is better than Chris Paul, and that's the entire argument. So if we're saying that somebody won an MVP, then it's like, oh well, he got an MVP. And it's like, well, is he a better scorer than Chris Paul? Is he better passer than Chris Paul? Is he better defender than Chris Paul? Is he a better rebounder than Chris Paul? Like, does he increase his team's wins more than Chris Paul? Like, what does he do better than Chris Paul? And it's like, well, he got an MVP. So what that's going to do is that's going to alleviate some of those arguments that are nonsensical arguments. So I think what it would do is I don't think you can with the championship, I don't think you can put him lower than 6.
Okay. All right. That's yeah, I give you that. But I definitely disagree with you. I think it's a Jason Kidd championship. It's not Gary Payton championship. It's Jason Kidd championship. Like there's levels on role player championships, you know. So all right, let's move on. We ain't gonna turn this episode about that. Next